Anti-communism. Very few things are as integral to the American worldview than being opposed to those evil, godless commies. And it's not hard to see why. During the Cold War, and ever since, the people of the United States have been the target of one of the most intense propaganda campaigns in history. The result is apparent: blind patriotism for a genocidal, fascist empire, and a complete unwillingness to even consider that something better is possible. Since the Cold War, American communists have been spied on, assaulted, jailed, barred from running for office, and even assassinated. Today, in 2022, the very same rhetoric that McCarthy used during his anti-communist witch hunts is alive and well in the US. Intellectuals are communist spies. Artists are communist agitators. Universities are communist indoctrination centers. Even YouTubers who advocate for positive change are subject to state intimidation. I had 2 DHS agents show up at my door to ask me about anti-American sentiment in my videos. While many places around the world suffer from varying degrees of anti-communist propaganda, the US is fairly unique in almost completely eradicating class consciousness and any form of left-wing thought within its borders. This is a big problem. How do we combat such a well-oiled and wildly successful propaganda machine? The answer today is the same it's always been: education. But with a slight twist to reflect 21st century life: education and the internet. Many communists in the US today fall into one of 3 counterproductive groups. 1. Doomers, or people who have given up on the possibility of radical change. 2. The terminally online, or those who have been so poisoned by Twitter interactions that the only way they can engage with non-communists is by ridiculing them. Or 3. The poorly read debate bro camp, those who see politics as blood sport and become attached to internet personalities who may be talented speakers, but who lack any real understanding of theory or history. While the internet is an incredibly useful tool for education and agitation, it's also prone to funneling even the most well-intentioned into these harmful political and social subgroups. A doomer, even if they're well-read on communist theory, is nonetheless performing a reactionary role, spreading pessimism about the future, making it seem like nothing will ever change, that it's hopeless, that we've passed the point of no return. This is incredibly counterproductive. Similarly, the terminally online are often well-versed in socialist talking points, but the extent of their involvement with others is retweeting an ignorant statement by Twitter's main character of the day and dunking on them for meaningless internet clout. Even if this person has a point, even if they're completely correct in their criticism, their intention is never to educate, but rather to humiliate. The final subgroup, the debate bro camp, is perhaps the most toxic of all. Just like the Reddit atheist camp of the 2010s, the debate bro fans latch onto bombastic and inflammatory personalities, people who teach them the best ways to make the person you're talking to feel stupid. The debate streamers talk and keep talking well beyond their understanding on any given issue, just pumping out content until they find a clip spicy enough to post on YouTube or Twitter for their adoring fans. Once again, the goal isn't to educate, the goal is to win. To make yourself look better regardless of what the other person takes away from the conversation. Now, this isn't to say that you can't make fun of bad takes on Twitter, especially if the person generating those takes is a high-profile grifter like Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson. But if our goal is truly to build the movement, to bring people into the fold, to educate our family, our friends, our neighbors, and co-workers about communism, this behavior towards normal people is not going to do it. This also isn't to say that we shouldn't engage with people on the internet. Quite the opposite. A lot of communist organizing is unnecessarily hindered by not properly taking advantage of all the modern tools at our disposal. I run the largest openly communist channel on YouTube, and it's not even close. That's incredibly disheartening to me. We need more comrades on YouTube, more people who know how to work a camera and set up a few lights. We need more magazines, more podcasts, more digital art for people to share. We need more Discord servers with reading groups and social events. We need streamers who can talk knowledgeably about socialism without falling into the trap of clout chasing. Look at how the right takes advantage of the internet. PragerU, The Daily Wire, The Epoch Times, countless think tanks with slick graphics and fancy reports, failed actors who were welcomed into the conservative fold with their own shows. These people understand just how important it is to reach an audience online. If you can dominate the internet, if your content pops up in front of every viewer who opens YouTube or Spotify, you get to control the narrative. You get to repeat the same old anti-communist propaganda that has been drilled into the heads of the American people for decades. Without a strong counteroffensive from the left, we stand no chance of winning the hearts and minds of the next generation. Now, it's much easier to spew nonsense than it is to refute it, so we definitely have our work cut out for us. But luckily, we have reality on our side. We don't even need to tackle every little bit of misinformation the right puts out. We just need to offer an alternative perspective, one grounded in fact, and with a clear and materialist analysis of the world. Socialist ideas resonate with the average person. That's why so many young people are beginning to identify as socialist despite the best efforts of the ruling class and their massive propaganda apparatus. But what happens when those young people don't find a home online? What happens when the CPUSA or any other organization doesn't have enough of a presence online to entice those potential comrades to get involved? That's a loss. And I don't even want to think about how many people we've lost to doomerism, to being terminally online, or to the debate bros, simply because that's what was presented to them in the left online space. In order to educate the next generation, and to combat the rise of fascism, the left must develop a strong online presence. We need a united front of principled educational outlets, YouTube channels, podcasts, magazines, streamers, all dedicated to sharing a vision for a brighter future, and all ready to answer the question, how can I get involved? What more can I do? If we can do that, if we can answer the burning questions of today, if we can explain why things are the way they are, and if we can say, here's your local branch, give them a call. If we can do those things, we'll be able to bring this fight into the 21st century. And this time, we'll be able to win it.